Cpear has come to Old Newgate Prison, East Granby, Connecticut today. The prison's actually named after Newgate Prison over in England. It opened in the early 1700s, around 1710 or so, as a mining facility. And they mined copper and some other kind of ores. And then about halfway through the century, they decided to turn it into a prison. They kept everyone down in the mines. It's pretty dark and damp down there. The entrance is actually right over here on the other side of the guard building, but it extends entirely below us and over to here. And then as more and more prisoners came into the late 1800s, they built these facilities here. They had the treadmill room, which is where they ground all their flour, wheat, and stuff for bread. They'd actually have the prisoners get on there, and almost like a log rolling contest, they'd work 10 minutes, take 5 minutes off. They also had office buildings here. They had a hospital. They used to house women prisoners up here. As you can see, everything's in a state of decay. The only building still standing is the old guardhouse over here. The prison was in operation until about 1828, and then they transferred everyone to Wethersfield State Prison, and they tried to turn this back into a mining operation, but the cost was just a little too much, and they shut it down. In probably late 1960s, 70s, it turned into a state park, and now everyone comes in and checks it out. There's a few documented deaths associated with Newgate. The first one happened in the late 1700s during a rebellion. There was a couple inmates tried to escape, and during the escape attempt, one of the inmates was actually struck with a bayonet and he died. And somewhere around that time, there was an African-American inmate named Prince. No one's really sure how he died, except his corpse was found down in the mines. There's some stories say he was left shackled to the wall and just left there to rot. There's others saying he died of natural causes, he slipped and he fell. Then there's another one, probably about mid-1800s, I believe, where the only reason it's recorded is because an inmate thought it would be funny to take the corpse out of the casket and just put it somewhere in the prison. It wasn't really written down where, but just left the corpse hanging out in the prison, and it was found. And then we have Abel Starkley, who on the last night of operation here decided to go to the well and try to climb out with the help of a friend. The well's about 40 feet. He started climbing up, got about halfway, 3/4 of the way up. The rope snapped and he fell to his death. Some of the reported activity includes shadow people apparitions down in the mines. They think it may be Abel Starkley, who died violently here on the last night as a prison when he fell in the well. Supposedly there's also a face that appears in some of the rocks. No one's really sure who it's supposed to be, except I think it was someone who died in a cave-in, which happened quite frequently here, as you can imagine.
The whipping post. Get your hands in these things, and then the guard would just kind of, go to work on you for whatever you did that was wrong. Penalty was supposedly not to exceed 10 lashes, so maybe that's semi-humane, I don't know. But you could also be deprived of food or stuck in solitary confinement. There are all sorts of punishments if you misbehaved. According to legend, there's one guy that they shackled up, not here, but down in the tunnels, that supposedly still haunts that area. He was shackled there and eventually just died. They let him die. Doesn't explain why, but he was an older black gentleman. This was a couple hundred years ago, so that could have been part of it. But this was the whipping post.
All right. We're entering the judge cells in the infirmary right now. These doors right here were not here back in the day. They basically kept all the sick prisoners and everyone who couldn't get down in the mines due to sickness in the cells over here. And the only way to get there was trapdoors in the ceiling. And they would climb up and climb down. They would also come down here right before dinner and create dinner down here. Some of the cells are this way. They still have some of the original beds up in the cells over here. You can see they're just made out of wood and nails. And basically this was their view. Just out into the courtyard area. They had two rooms down here. Still have some shackles. We're not sure if they actually put anyone here or what those were used for, but they may have just stuck the bad people here, ones they couldn't control. Over here, see how the beds were all set up. Bunk bed style, one on the bottom, one on top. We have not read anywhere or seen or heard any kind of paranormal claims around here, but you can just imagine being locked in here, just surrounded by all the concrete and a wooden bed, and basically just left here, and your only way of escape is to go up in the guardhouse. Just imagine kind of despair, what kind of heartache you'd have down here.
Hey, we're in the tunnel some more. I'm crouching because we got about 3 or 4 foot ceilings down here. But those tunnels down there, a lot of tunnels that tourists can't walk around. And supposedly it was in one of these places that an older inmate here named Prince died and may still be hanging around here somewhere. They shackled him up. Nobody's really sure why. Just to one of these stone walls, and he died. But he was a black guy, so given the time period, that's a possibility. That could be part of the reason. There's conflicting reports. Another person said that he was actually happy down here, if that's possible. And but his spirit may still be down here if he really was just left to waste away on one of these walls.
We're down in the mines now. This is the mine shaft that Abel Starkley fell down trying to escape on the last night. I don't know if you can get in here without the water falling on it. If you take a look up, that's 38 feet straight up. And there's more water down here than there is now. And he's trying to climb up. His rope broke and he fell straight down here. His body was found down here. They're not sure if he drowned in the water or if he just, died from the fall. But they say he's still running around here somewhere.
Okay, I'm in the solitary confinement spot right now. This is where you would get sent just to sit by yourself for a certain period of time. Could be days, weeks. If you weren't behaving, it's enough to make you go nuts. Just hanging out here, there's nobody around. You can drift on probably. It's all stuffy and dark. But this is what it was used for during those times.
Cpear has investigated Old Newgate Prison now on 2 separate occasions. Both were daytime investigations. They don't allow nighttime investigations to be done at Newgate Prison. One, because there's no funding in the budget for their employees to be there at night, and 2, there's a liability factor, so it makes it literally impossible to do any kind of investigating at night. We have found that we can get evidence during the day just as much as we can at night. It's a little better at night because things are more quieter and it takes less energy for spirits to manifest. Since most of the prisoners passed away down in the mines while in prison down there, that's where we targeted most of our investigation time. A lot of photographs down in the mines are commonly mistaken for orbs and mists. The reason for that is because it's so cold down there and so warm above ground. When you breathe, your breath is showing up on the photographs. Also, because of the dampness, condensation from being down there on the lens is also showing up on photographs as orbs. So you got to watch out when you're taking pictures down there. During our first visit to Newgate Prison, we were down in the back of the mines and doing an EVP session, and we actually caught 2 EVPs while down there. In case you don't know what an EVP is, it means electronic voice phenomena. It's a disembodied voice caught on video recorder or audio recorder. You can't hear it with your ear, but when you play the video or audio back is when you can hear these voices. So we caught 2 voices the first time we were there, and we will play those for you now.
You a prisoner here? You a prisoner here?
So who whoever that was, didn't sound like they wanted us down there. As Ed Harris was telling you in the previous video, the jug cell area hasn't really been a hot spot for paranormal activity, but we decided to investigate in there anyways because we're pretty thorough when we investigate. While in there, Dan Folsick was taking snapshots and pictures in the jug cells and caught a interesting green mist formation. We know it's not a reflection off of anything because it looks like it's free-formed in the center of the room. One of the other things we caught while at Old Newgate Prison, Alec Arbor, myself, and Angel and Nicole from Connecticut Soul Seekers, we were all in the jug cell area. We had the K2 meter out, and what the K2 meter is, it has a set of lights on it, and it picks up energy, the spirit energy. And if a spirit gets close enough to it, it'll make all the lights light up. And we were asking questions, series of questions. We placed the K2 meter down on the wooden bed that was down there, and we asked the question, if you're here, can you lay down on the bed? And right after we asked that, all the lights on the meter lit up several times.
Is anybody else in here with us? Can you try laying down on this bed here? Oh, did you see that? Look at that. Oh, that's good.
Is that you? Can you do that again?
So that was pretty exciting, and just a little more evidence to add to the supposed hauntings at Old Newgate Prison. Cpear hopes you've enjoyed this little documentary. I know it's pretty amateurish, but we decided to give it a shot. We're going to try and make some more of these in the future. We got a few more coming up, so keep an eye out. Check out the rest of all of our videos here at cpeargroup.com, and we'll keep checking out Newgate Prison in the future, and if we get anything, we'll definitely be sure to post it online for you. Thanks for checking us out.